Hi lovelies, it's Leanne, and today I want to talk about cortisol. So cortisol is a stress hormone. It's a hormone produced by our adrenal glands in response to stress. So one of the things I find that is happening in our crazy lives today is that we have way too much cortisol. And we have way too much cortisol because we have way too much stress. And that is just how our lives seem to be these days. Everything is faster and faster and crazier. So one of my jobs with my clients is to help them deal with those high cortisol levels that are affecting the rest of their bodies and get them back to normal. So when cortisol is high, it has a range of negative effects on the body. Number one is weight gain through the middle. A lot of people talk about middle-age spread, and a lot of that is due to those higher cortisol levels as we age and as we become more stressed as well. That's one thing that cortisol does. It generally dampens down your metabolic processes, so it might slow down your thyroid function and generally your metabolism and your digestion. So that's another issue with high cortisol. It can affect the rest of your hormones, so it can lead into causing PMT and other awful symptoms before a period. It can affect your blood sugar balance, so it can cause the body to be really out of sync with its blood sugar, making you crave sweets, and long term leading to things like diabetes, which we just don't want. They're the big issues with cortisol. Another one is that when cortisol remains high throughout the day and doesn't actually leave the body very easily at night, is that you won't sleep well. The body is still too alert because of the cortisol, and you don't get deep regenerating sleep, which then sets up that stress cycle again. So the whole issue gets worse. So with cortisol, my job when it's high is to help your body deal with that, get it out of the body, but also to nourish the adrenal glands so that they don't produce as much cortisol in response to stress. Now, before we get on to what we use to do that, I just want to talk about how to test cortisol. Some people have a blood test done, but I honestly think that a blood test isn't always accurate as far as measuring cortisol levels, because we need to know what it's doing throughout the day, not just one period of time. So the way that I often do it, one way we do it, is to use a salivary hormone test where you get to spit into a bottle several times throughout the day. So that tells us what it's doing in a 12-hour period, which is really helpful, so we get a picture of what's happening in your body. The other way that I test it is through kinesiology. So I'll use this with my clients that come to the clinic, but also my Skype clients as well. We can use kinesiology for them, and it's very accurate at telling us whether there is high cortisol in your body, whether it's affecting your other symptoms, whether it's upsetting your hormone levels or other things, and also what we can use to then get the cortisol down and get the adrenals working better. So it's quite clever. So the things that we do use when cortisol is high and the body is in this stressful type situation, liquid chlorophyll, that's one of my favourite things, as you may know by this point. It does help the liver to detox that cortisol, and it helps get rid of it at the end of the day to calm the body down so you can generally sleep better and feel better for the next day. The other thing I use quite often is vitamin C. Vitamin C nourishes the adrenal glands, and it helps again to get rid of those cortisol levels. So it's great. And thirdly is B vitamins. So we often use activated B vitamins or a really good executive B formula to nourish the adrenals and help your body deal with stress. And that stops the cortisol levels from actually getting high to start with. So that's my blog on cortisol, and feel free to chat to me via Facebook, email, if you need to find out more or want to chat about whether you think you have an issue with cortisol. Let's chat. So have a great day. Bye for now.